Terrorism in the United States, is it usually caused by Muslims? It turns out
Of course it is. Are you kidding me? I watch Fox News. It's nothing but the goddamn Muslims.
It turns out that in a lot of cases, no, it is not the Muslims.
Really?
Yeah. So look, as I always say when we do studies like this, right, or stories like this, like it's ridiculous that any type of organization would need to document this and do a study on it, right? But of course, you need these organizations to like prove the mainstream media wrong when it comes to like Muslims and the perception of Muslims in this country. So basically, this is a study that was done by the Triangle Center on Terrorism and Homeland Security, and they looked at a huge amount of data to see how many terrorist attacks are actually caused by Muslims in the United States. And what they found was that, and this is according to one of the researchers, Muslim American terrorism continued to be a minuscule threat to public safety last year. None of America's 14,000 murders in 2011 were due to Islamic extremism.
But it was only none of them.
None of them. Yeah.
Right. Now, look, here's the thing. So people say, hey, wait a minute. Yes, there was none in that year, but obviously in 2001 there was 9/11, and there have been in other instances that are well documented in the U.S. over the last 10 years. That's all true. But reason why this is important is that there's this furor that is like drummed up by the right-wing blogs and by congressmen. Congressman King in New York has done 4 hearings on Muslim extremism. So it creates this atmosphere like, oh my God, the Muslims are coming and the violence from the Muslim extremists is so overwhelming. It's a tidal wave, except that there weren't any in 2011. None. So when you look at it in that context, you might say, hey, maybe, there were other years, of course, that there were, but as a sense of like overwhelming problem in America, it is absurd to claim that it is.
And also think about how that is constantly, Muslim terrorism in this country is constantly used as an excuse to violate our civil liberties, right? Constantly. The militarization of our police enforcement, like the use of drones by some police enforcement, some police departments in the country, the fact that the NYPD was working with the CIA and the FBI when it came to spying on Muslims in New York City, infiltrating their mosques. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So it's had a huge negative impact on the country. And at the same time, it's really not an issue. The study basically found that attacks by Muslims had fallen for a second year in a row. So they're looking at trends and they're realizing, first of all, it wasn't that big of an issue to begin with. But, any little issue that there was, you've seen a decrease in it as the years have progressed. So, look, the proof is in the pudding, but do Republicans care? Does Fox News care? No, they're going to continue spreading this propaganda about the Muslim community.